Welcome to the winter solstice version of Yin and other healing modalities to stay well during the winter. So the winter solstice is a great time to set your intentions for the New Year's. It's not necessarily that you have to wait till the New Year. You can actually do this at winter solstice if you pay attention to celestial events. And I'm a former earth science teacher, so I thought I'd give you just a minute or two of the winter solstice. A lot of people think it's because the northern hemisphere is farther away from the sun, which makes it the shortest day of the year, and the southern hemisphere is closer. It's not necessarily that it's farther or closer, it's the tilt of the planet on the axis. So I guess theoretically, we're tilted like this right now. So anything in the north is tilted away and the southern hemisphere is tilted toward. And then as we continue going around during the summer solstice, we're more tilted like this. In terms of the direction, and it would be over there, but I can't do that with my hand. Oh, yes, I could. So it'd be tilted like this, and therefore we would be getting more direct sun and longer daylight hours, and the southern hemisphere is further away. So that is why it was the longest night of the year in the winter solstice here, and the shortest night of the year where my granddaughter is in Brazil. So they had most daylight hours. So just a little earth science lesson. So we're actually going to start with a winter solstice guided meditation script. So get comfortable any way you can. You don't have to sit cross-legged. You could sit with your legs out. You could even lie down if you'd like to. So if you have the ability to do so, you could make the room as dark and quiet as possible. You could, as an option, light a candle if you have a candle nearby. If you're on a chair, make sure your feet are touching the ground. And if you're laying down, maybe place a cushion under the knees. So being intentional in creating time and a space with purpose and loving kindness is an important step in signaling to your body and brain that you're ready to do this guided meditation and receive the benefits of this self-care practice. So begin with 5 slow, deep breaths. Observe how you're experiencing both the inhale and the exhale. Now, if your eyes are closed, gently open them and take note of both the darkness and the light in your room. Notice the contrast between bright and dim. Observe without criticism or judgment, and breathe. If it's comfortable for you, now close your eyes and notice the bright and dim spots with your eyes closed. Observe with curiosity, no criticism, no judgment, and breathe. Welcome the darkness of the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. Observe your thoughts about this time of the year. Just use noticing as a way of checking in without criticism, without judgment, and breathe. Shift your focus within to notice any sensations and thoughts that are present at the moment. Shift away from any bright, shiny objects, away from external distractions or influences. Move towards the darkness to allow time to see yourself, notice yourself, and allow this opportunity to listen to any whispers and messages arriving in this space, and breathe. Ask yourself, ask your heart, what do you want me to pay attention to right now? What messages? You might even place your hand on the heart. Listen. And breathe. Take 5 slow, deep breaths. While doing so, scan the body. Do you notice any areas of tension in the body? If you are noticing any tension, send your attention and breath to that body part and tell it it's okay to relax. I give you permission to let go. Take your time. Go part by part so that you can relax the entire body. And breathe. Observe and notice. How do you feel? What is present in this moment? Ask yourself, is there a pattern or a habit or a cause of suffering I am ready to let go of now? Listen to your heart and breathe. Create your affirmations. I let go of. What is it for you? I let go of. Repeat this out loud 3 times. Whisper it 3 times. Repeat it silently 3 times. Breathe deeply. Observe and notice the experience of letting go. I release what no longer serves me. I release it into the darkness of the winter solstice. I create space for ease and welcome any change that will bring freedom from suffering. I release what no longer serves me. I release it into the darkness of this winter solstice. I create space for ease and welcome any change that will give me freedom from suffering. I release what no longer serves me. I release it into the darkness of the winter solstice. I create space for ease and welcome any change that will bring freedom from suffering. You could continue in this silent meditation for as long or as short as you wish. Receive this time to be with your experience as it is, allowing whatever feelings and thoughts to arise, and integrate freedom and ease into your body, mind, and life. If you have not placed your hands on your heart yet, place your hands on the heart and take 5 slow, deep breaths, allowing love, warmth, and compassion and light into your whole being. Acknowledging and thanking yourself for this time and space to release what no longer serves you. Now, this practice was shared to me by Amelia Andeleon from Spiritually Fit Yoga. So I'm very grateful to her for sharing this with me. All right, let's begin some movement. So stretch your legs out in front of you. Place your hands behind your back. Open up the chest and then release it. Let your feet go out to the side. Open up the chest. Bring the feet back in as you curl over. Open up the chest and release. Now, setting yourself up for our first yin pose, which is caterpillar pose. You might need to elevate your hips on something to allow you to lean forward. Your legs are relatively straight. Mine don't necessarily want to be straight, so I'll probably bend my knees to allow some comfort. And you could set up something in front of you to sort of lean your head on like this. And as your body is able to release, you might lower the prop or even let go of the prop, or if you don't need a prop, just go ahead. So we're going to hold this pose. And again, be very careful. Don't go into pain. So this is really about physically letting go. Where can you physically let go? Deepen your breath. And as your body starts to release, you might gently change the position a little bit, maybe going slightly deeper. But try to stay in as much stillness as possible. You have about 40 seconds left. Where can you let go physically of any tension? Or can you soften? Very gently emerge. Move anything out of your way. Opening up your chest. Maybe windshield wipering or moving around in any way that feels nourishing. And then making your way to hands and knees. If you need to cushion, go ahead and grab a blanket or something for under your knees. You can see I brought my tea with me today. So just begin to undulate your spine in a way that feels nourishing. I kind of like the flow with the undulation where I push back to child's pose, emerge through my forearms, come up to the hands, lean forward, and then carve my stomach out, dropping the chin, pressing back onto the forearms, pushing all the way back to child's pose, and then emerging again. Use your breath to find more release in more areas around the spine and the front body. Settling back into our yin pose, which will be a child's pose of some version. You create the child's pose that feels right for you. You might widen your knees. You might cushion under the ankles or between the thighs and the calves. You might even have something for under the head. So let's settle into a child's pose. And this is a good time. So now that you've decided what to let go, maybe it's time to see if any intentions are emerging for what your heart desires in the new year. Why wait till the new year? We can start formulating during the winter solstice. What does my heart really desire? When you're doing this kind of intention setting, it's often good to notice what has prevented you from attaining what your heart desires. So if you did not have any of these obstacles before you, and you knew you could not fail, what is it that you really want? And then what do you need to do in order to bring this about? What kind of support do you need? All right. Very gently emerge from this child's pose. And we're going to lay on our bellies next, but before we lay on our belly, let's just shift our hips side to side and then draw the lower legs off the ground and shift side to side, allowing the spinal movements to go sideways. And then creating a very cushy place to lie down on. Do our back bend series. All right, so to prepare for the held pose, we'll do a few movements, and you can either stack your arms on top of each other like this, just rest your head on it, or you can put your hands beside your chest and tuck your elbows in, your choice. So start with your feet flat on the ground. So the tops of my feet are flat. Tuck the toes in to the ground. Engage the back of the leg so that now your knees are emerging off the ground. And then rest it back down again. Do that 2 more times. And feel the back body engage. So we'll add in the upper body with it. The next time your knees are engaged, your legs are off the ground, lift your upper body. Don't go too high, but just feel the whole, all the muscles up and down the back body, all the way down the legs engage. Release. And then lay down with a cheek to one side. And then go ahead and do that again. Lifting up. Feel everything engaged. Notice where you're engaging, making sure you're not just tucking in at one point. Release the feet, release the head down, turn the other way. Let's do 2 more times. Lifting knees off the ground by the legs are engaged, the back body's engaged. Release it down. And last time. Lift up the knees, engage the legs, engage the entire back body, feel the strength here, release and rest. Now let's set up for the yin pose here. There are 3 versions of this you could do. You could be up here on your forearms like this. You could be on your elbows, supporting your head forward like this. Or if you need a little more action, you could be completely up with straight arms, hands slightly turned out like this. I'm going to do the gentlest version. So, and again, if you feel like it, you could tuck those toes in, keep the backs of the legs engaged. That's an extra safety measure if you find that you crunch your low back in this pose. And breathe. And again, if this is still too much for you, move your arms further away from your body so you're not back bending quite as much. Just notice where you're feeling this. Where can you physically let go of tension? I'm noticing some tension in my neck, in my left side. So how can I physically let go of that? Use my breath. Now you're welcome to either deepen or lessen the intensity of this pose for the last 40 seconds or so. Very gently begin to lower your body down. Make a pillow with your arms. Bend up the knees. And allow the legs to swish side to side, getting any residual tension out. Another lovely thing to do while on your belly to release low back tension is to bend one knee up. And you can rest in crocodile pose. Switch sides. Maybe gently push up to one downward dog to neutralize what we have just done. Take your time, and you don't have to do a dog, but if you're feeling a dog, lift your rear, lengthen up, breathe. No need to keep your legs straight. This is a spine lengthener, not necessarily a hamstring stretch. All right, let's make our way to seated. How are you feeling? We'll do a mudra practice now. And one of the ways to help put your intentions into motion is to have the belief that you are able to receive abundantly, that you're worthy to receive. So today's mudra is a gesture of support for receiving abundantly. So you're going to bring your palms together in a prayer position in front of your abdomen with the fingertips facing forward. Keep your fingertips and the wrists together, but spread your thumbs out to the side like open wings. Got it? So your fingers are together, your wrists are together, but your thumbs are pointed out to the side like wings. Relax your shoulders back and down. If you have a trouble resting this just in the air like this, you could stack up blocks or something to lean on, or even put a little table in front of you just to rest it on. So this is called the Adara Mudra, the gesture of support for receiving abundantly. So Adara means foundation and refers to the divine as a source of all abundance. The mudra directs your breath, your awareness, and your energy into your solar plexus, which cultivates a sense of enthusiasm and self-esteem, which supports us in recognizing that we are worthy to receive abundantly. The open hands reflect our willingness to receive, as well as our intention to release any limiting beliefs that keep us from receiving. The gesture also enhances our ability to focus one-pointedly, which allows us to clarify our needs and make our requests more objectively. Adara Mudra instills a sense of trust that we always receive everything we need at the right moment along our journey. So if your eyes are not already closed, you might want to close them now. This is a guided meditation, opening to receive abundantly. As you hold the Adara Mudra, take several natural breaths to attune to all the feelings and the sensations evoked by the gesture. Notice how your breath is gently directed into the solar plexus, creating a space of receptivity in which you naturally open to receive more abundantly. Take several breaths to attune to the space within your hands as a symbol of your openness to receive all of life's bounty. Your open hands also affirm that you're ready to release any beliefs of unworthiness or inadequacy that keep you from receiving. Take some time to reflect on that which you are asking to receive, noticing both your surface level need as well as your deeper intention for love, self-worth, or inner peace. Now make your request to the universe, choosing words that reflect your intention clearly from the deepest part of your being, and repeat your request 3 times. Say it in the present positive. Next, visualize that which you have requested within your hands as a manifest reality, envisioning all the ways that it will support you in your life journey. Finally, surrender your request to the universe, recognizing that it always provides exactly what you need, allowing you to continue your journey with openness and receptivity. So I have a little mantra that I've been using at the beginning of each year that I try to remember, and it's intention. So setting our intention, attention, paying attention to it, but no tension. So not having any tension about when and how it's going to manifest. And I got that from the Year of Miracles that I participated in a couple of years ago. So it's intention, attention, no tension. I hope this practice has been helpful to you. So go ahead and widen your legs into a wide-legged position. And we are going to go yin pose to each side and then forward. But let's again prepare our body for it by just gently moving side to side. And then interlace the hands behind the neck and gently twisting and releasing and twisting and releasing, twisting and releasing, twisting and releasing. Now, if both legs out like this is uncomfortable when we go to one side, you could always bend the one leg in and just focus on one side at a time. So finding a way that you can lean forward and rest yourself onto this one side to do our yin pose on this side. So I've created like a little bridge. And I think I am going to draw the other leg in. So face the leg, allow your body to soften toward it. And we'll do our yin pose over here now. So when you're in a pose where you're bending one side, there's 2 ways to approach your breath. You could breathe to the open side. So try that for a few rounds. a bit more challenging, but maybe more beneficial, is to try to breathe to the side that's compressed, creating space there. So now you might want to switch back and forth. Breathe to the open side. Breathe to the compressed side. Breathe to the open side and the compressed side. And then just go back to your natural breath for the last 30 seconds of this side. Begin to emerge slowly. Take your time. And move things out of your way just for a moment. Draw arms behind your back, legs in front of you, maybe windshield wipering, opening up the chest, maybe tapping out your legs. Some people even like to do the reverse tabletop, whatever feels neutralizing and nourishing to you. And then take your time to set up for the other side. So again, both legs can be out or the opposite leg can be in. Your propping depends on your level of comfort. You want to feel something, but you don't want it to cross into pain. And set up for your forward fold over this other leg. Where can you release and let go? Where can you soften? So once again, you might start by breathing into the open side. A little easier to have the breath come in and out of a side that's not compressed. And then shift your breath over to the compressed side. Now switch your breath back and forth. Open side, compressed side, open side, compressed side. Return to a normal breath. What are you able to let go here physically that's creating suffering and discomfort? Very gently begin to emerge. And move props out of your way. Put your hands behind your back, legs in front, maybe windshield wipering, maybe tapping them out, maybe a reverse tabletop. And let's go into some version of this pose where the one leg is bent and one leg is forward. Now, some people, again, will be able to create a way to lie back. I'm not sure if I can today, and I'm not sure if I want to. I might just lean back a little bit on my arms and just get this area to open a little bit. Not going to hold it too long. This is more neutralizing for what we just did. All right, let's try the other side and see how that feels. Ooh, a lot tighter on this side. So where can I let go? Where can you let go? What's holding on? Try to keep your neck and shoulders from getting too stiff, especially if you're holding yourself up. That's a challenge, to be able to release something without tightening another part of the body up. All right, let's go ahead and release that. And let's work on releasing our shoulders and our neck just for a minute. So we'll do a gentle somatic yoga routine called nodding yes, and it's exactly as it sounds. Drop the chin to the chest, come up through neutral, lift the chin, back through neutral. So just make sure you're aware of what muscles you're engaging and releasing. Engaging and releasing. Now turn the chin toward a shoulder. And this time, when you drop the chin, lift the shoulder up at the same time. So we're contracting this whole muscle. Let the shoulder drop down first, and then lift the chin, and then draw the back shoulder up and let the head rest on the back shoulder and release. So drop the chin toward the front shoulder, lift the shoulder to meet it, contracting that muscle, releasing by letting the shoulder go, coming back to neutral with the chin, lifting the chin at the same time lifting the back shoulder, allowing the head to rest back there and back to neutral. Drop the chin to the chest and do a half circle to go to the other side. So drop the chin toward the shoulder lifts, contracting that front of the neck muscle. Lower the shoulder, raise the head, lift the shoulder in the back, let the neck slightly rest back there. Come back through neutral. Drop the chin toward this shoulder, lift the shoulder to meet it. Allow everything to come back to neutral. Lift the chin, draw the back shoulder up, let the head rest back there. Neutral. Drop the chin and do another half circle around. Take your index finger and your middle finger and find the indent beneath your skull. Those are known as your suboccipitals. Give them a little rub down or gently push in and out in a massaging style to release any tension there. And you can even go up behind the ears and down the neck. Behind the ears and down the neck. Last time. All right, release it, release your hands, and let's just do little elliptical movements of our shoulders. So they're not really circling as creating ellipses, like an elliptical machine. And then ellipse forward. Open up wide on an inhale, bear hug on an exhale. Open up wide on an inhale, other arm in front, bear hug on the exhale. One more time each side, changing arms each time. And last thing, to release our upper body, lift, for me it's the right arm. I'm going to touch the right shoulder with that hand. Take the left hand and lift the elbow up. And I'm going to lean to the left and release. I'll lift the left arm up, allow the left hand to touch that same shoulder, using the right hand, lifting it up and releasing. All right, how are you feeling? So let's go ahead and find our way onto our backs. Move things out of your way. If you have a strap, that would be lovely. If you have either blocks or some sort of bolster or a rolled blanket, that would be nice as well. So we'll do just a little bit of movement and then we'll do a couple of held poses, more in the restorative tradition than even yin. So if you want something underneath your head, make sure it's just not too thick, relatively flat. And we'll start by checking in on our backs. If it's okay to stretch your legs out without causing lower back discomfort, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, bend your knees and place your feet on the ground. And today I have a little bit of low back discomfort, so I'm going to keep my knees bent. So just scan your body. Notice where you still have not let go. Is there any place still holding on to tension? Widen the feet away from each other. If your legs were straight, bend the knees, put the feet on the ground, widen them away so that they're wider than hip distance. Draw arms out to the side, palms facing to the sky initially. Allow just the right knee to come in and then open all the way. So working just the hip joint a little bit, going in, coming to neutral, opening, and back to neutral. And this is the third time. In, up to the sky, which is neutral. Open the knee out, which opens up the hip, and back to neutral. Let's do the other side. Drop the knee in. Notice where the tightness is. Come back to neutral. Open the knee up. Back to neutral. Knee in and neutral. Knee open and neutral. So we'll drop both knees in and neutral. We're not going to open from here. Drop them in again and neutral. And third time, let them go in and neutral. Now shimmy your feet toward each other. Drop the knees open as you do. Draw the arms up toward each other, palms facing each other above your head. And as your knees come up, let the arms go back out wide, palms facing the sky. Do this just a couple of times. All right. Draw one knee into the chest. Lift the leg up to the sky and lower it a couple of times.
Cross that leg over the body into a twist. Come back to center. Open up that leg. Cross the leg over the body into the twist. If you can look the other way. Back to center and open it. Switch legs. Draw the other leg in. Lift and lower just a few times. Cross the leg over the body, look away. Come back and open it. And look the opposite way of your leg going. Come back and open it. And now we'll do just 3 moving bridge poses into a supported bridge pose. So bend your knees back up, hip distance apart. Now, if you have a tendency, like I do, to feel a bridge pose mostly in the back of your body, it may help to take a block, placing it between your thighs, which then forces the effort more to the front of the body, and you feel less crunch in the back of the body. So it's something you could try. So lifting up, see this, to me, activates my thighs more and a little less crunching my low spine and tucking my butt in too much. And dropping back down. And lifting it up on the inhale. And dropping back down. And third time. So this is where we'll go into a held bridge pose. You can either use a block, a rolled blanket, or a bolster underneath your hips. Now, if you're using a block, be aware that it does not touch your spine. If you're using a bolster, it's not as big a deal. This is a little more gentle. And some people actually like to stretch their legs out to get the front of the hips, these hip flexors as well. But for me, that's not feeling so good. You can, if you want to, tuck the shoulders a little more under. You can either lift the chin more up to the sky like this. If you do that, you're creating another little arch under your neck. Or decide to tuck the chin. So you decide. Just feel this beautiful opening of your front body. So it's a great time to return back to your intention. You could either focus, if you still need to focus on the letting go intention, you could return to that. But if you feel like you've made that effort, you're ready to let that go, you could be working on your intention for the upcoming year. What does your heart really desire? What would you do if you had no fear of failure? What kind of supports would you need? What are the small steps that you could take along the way? Now, the last pose I am inviting you into, if you like this, and if you have a strap, this is where I love to use my strap, is a legs up in the air pose. So I use the strap, I create like a closed circle and use the strap to really support my legs so that I'm not using any effort at all, any muscular effort in my lower body. But a wall also works great for this. If you don't have a strap, you could just have your legs up the wall. I like to keep my hips slightly elevated because that keeps the hips above the heart. And so there are some great benefits to that as well. So. Inversions are incredibly good for our health. They both energetically and physically draw us away from the constant movement that life requires into a more restful state. Physically, it's great for digestion. It's great for helping you sleep. All things we need to stay well during the winter. From a psycho-emotional level, it is great to have a different perspective on things. So we're seeing things upside down. And that can be very helpful as well. You are welcome to stay with legs in the air. You're welcome to go into a traditional Shavasana, or even to finish up in a seated meditation, whatever pose feels like a great way to close the class out for you. So I found another great Mark Nepo reading. I tell you, no matter how many times I read from his book, The Book of Awakening, I find another like amazing reading. So this one's called Nowhere to Go. There's nothing to do and nowhere to go. Accepting this, we can do everything and go anywhere. One of the basic notions of Taoism is that the world in all its mystery and difficulty cannot be improved upon, only experienced. We are asked to believe that life in all its complexity and wonder is complete as is, ever changing and vital, but never perfectible. I've come to understand that this doesn't prevent our being involved. On the contrary, accepting that the world can do quite fine without us allows us to put down the burden of being corrective heroes and simply concentrate on absorbing the journey of being alive. Thus, our work is not to eliminate or recreate anything. Rather, like human fish, we're asked to experience meaning in the life that moves through the gill that's our heart. Ultimately, we are small living things awakened in the stream, not gods who carve out rivers. We cannot eliminate hunger, but we can feed each other. We cannot eliminate loneliness, but we can hold each other. We cannot eliminate pain, but we can live a life of compassion.
I only came upon these notions after experiencing them. Faced with dying, the opportunity to change the world was taken away. It was all I could do to survive being changed by the world. This sent me into a sudden depression, but soon I found what remained to be very liberating. Stripped of causes and plans and things to strive for, I discovered that everything I could need or ask for is right here, in flawed abundance. Since then, my efforts have turned from trying to outrun suffering to trying to express it, from trying to achieve joy to trying to discover it, and from trying to shape or better the lives around me to accepting love wherever I can find it. So I found this reading to be so amazing when we're trying to set intentions. Maybe our intention should be just to experience life more and stop trying to change ourselves or improve ourselves or things like that. Just finding that place inside where we're not suffering and we feel happy and content. So in the last minute or two, just let your heart breathe without focus. Try not to think, but also try not to not think. Exhale your pressures and arrive exactly where you are. Breathe deeply and accept the jewel and the grit of this moment. Thank you, Mark Nepo. Such a wise person. All right, so begin to move your body in any way that feels nourishing. Make your way to seated gently and gather any parts of this class that spoke to you. Draw your hands into the heart. Let's acknowledge each other and say namaste.